Peace and love, family. How you guys doing? Once again, it is Saturday in Morovia, Liberia. The weather is very cold, and as usual, the love is bringing me towards this path of sharing. So, we are here to share. My name is Asafwache Yeboah. And as I always say, drop the belief system. Drop whatever thing your mother, your father might have taught you, the system of education might have given you, religion might have impacted into you, and the rest of the worldly information that you practice. Put them aside for a second, and let's process this with our soul, or by the soul. Once again, good morning, and thank you for allowing me into your space. What is the big picture? What is the big picture? You may ask, what do you mean? I mean, which area are you coming from asking such a question? As a human being, realizing that you are a human being and not an animal and not a tree, even though there's nothing different about that, you need to ask yourself, what is my big picture? What am I here to do? What is my purpose? Why are we here? It's a very big question for a big picture. So, what is your big picture? Let me say it rightly, the biggest picture. To some of us, our biggest picture is getting all that the classroom education gives. And all that the classroom education gives is recognition. That's all. To some of us, it is playing the highest role so far as religion is concerned. To be very religious. That's a big picture, or the biggest picture. To some of us, marriage is the biggest picture. Career is the biggest picture. Having a child is the biggest picture. The word for the word. To some of us, the biggest picture is the God of the world, money. You may choose to agree or not. I can explain and think deeply about money that man has created and where it is now and what man is doing for it. Then maybe you may get closer to the understanding why I said money is the God of the world that man has created, and that has become the biggest picture for some of us. To some of us, building a car, a land, a property. Okay, to some of us, property is the biggest picture. To some of us, setting up a company. To some of us, being in leadership position. president, vice minister, whatever, assemblyman, community chairman, depending on the level of our consciousness of awareness. There's always a big picture. But all that I have mentioned at this moment, you realize that they are the very elements of nature that man has created. I call it the element of nature because something from nature was taken, and man's idea was added to it to prove it right. But it's not so. Like money was taken from the forest, the source, the trees. So you have to ask yourself, why am I here? That question is never asked by humans. That question is asked by those that the soul has taken over and they have become a human being. The biggest picture. Man's biggest picture has nothing to do with this world. I'm talking about the way of naturalness, nature's own way, the universe's own way. It has nothing to do with this world. Anything of this world, the biggest picture has nothing to do with it. Anything. There is so much confusion in the world. And some people think that the biggest picture ought to be religion, and religion can give peace and joy. Religion is where you'll be loved and be lovable. But are you peaceful in your own home? You that practice religion. Man's biggest picture has to do with the non-physical part of man. Non-physical part of man. Manifesting through the physical. Man's biggest picture is God walking among men through man. I'm talking about your spirit having human experience. Man's biggest picture is knowing that he or she is a spirit and is walking according to the ways of the spirit. And this is the way of naturalness. Man's biggest picture has nothing to do with effort, with work. It has everything to do with reward. Everything to do with reward. There's nothing for you to do to know as an experience that you are spiritual or you are a spirit. There's nothing to do. And there's everything to do to be your beingness as the spirit. To experience your soul, there's no efforts required. No efforts is required. And it is the way of naturalness. No efforts. You can't work to make money, to send the money to so-called religious leaders for you to be blessed. No. The practice has nothing to do with what has been documented documents and rituals and rules and regulations that you have to observe. No, there's nothing like that. Any spirituality that um, uh, uh, have a literature governing it is fake. To experience your soul, if you have to observe a documented book for you to experience your own soul, that document or that movement on that religion whatsoever is fake. For you, for when you experience your soul, you will know the truth and you become the truth, knowing that all that I'm saying is the truth. There's no rules and regulation to experience yourself as a spirit. No, no. You are already the experience. But because you have paid attention to what man has created, man has developed as an idea printed on a paper for you to follow, to experience peace and love, which of course can never give you peace and love, you never pay attention to what is natural. Life. Now this. The biggest picture has nothing to do with the building you you dwell in as your house. The big picture has nothing to do with your home. Homes were here before you were born. The big picture has nothing to do with you as an ego. The big picture has everything to do with your soul. And that is the image of your soul. The big picture is the image of your soul. It is the path of your life. It is your purpose. And all these are one. The image, the path, and the purpose. As I said earlier, the big picture of your soul is your reward. Which of course there's no reward. The beingness expressed as your soul is your reward. If we understand this, that the wind is blowing from nowhere and is going nowhere, and that becomes our experience, then you are getting closer to knowing the big picture. The big picture is your spirit, influencing, motivating, and inspiring your actions among men. The big picture is to live a life of godliness. Man must see God in you. Nature must see God in you. The universe must be your life. You may ask, how can I experience my soul? In the first place, do you know you have a soul as an experience? Intellectually, we've been taught it's soul. Yes, we are made of physical and non-physical, and the soul is the non-physical. Okay. But have you ever had the deepest desire, the thirst for an experience of the soul? And if there's anything to thirst for, if there's anything to desire, then it should be the experience of the soul. And that should be your biggest picture, the experience of the soul. So we are talking about your biggest picture, my biggest picture, and their biggest picture, being the reason of our existence. As I'm aware that I'm here and I've become aware of my environment and I've become aware of my emotions, I must be able to ask questions, which of course no human can answer. It is the soul. So I have to do what? Experience the soul to get answers for this existence. And how can you experience the soul? This is what I have been blessed with, to share with you the ways of naturalness, to teach you how to experience your soul, and to bring unto you a new word of an experience that you will never depart from, the ways of naturalness. There's no efforts and there's just reward. No efforts. I don't think sitting down requires an effort. And that's what, of course, you may need. There's no time. I may tell you just sit down for 20 minutes. But at a point in time, you wouldn't want to get up from your chair. And that's when you begin to reward yourself. I don't think listening or hearing requires an effort, unless you were born like that. Even with that one, in fact, that is the best. When you can hear human, you can hear the external noise. That's the best. So all that you have been hearing is the sound of your soul, which your brain generates. And that's the sound of the universe, the sound of all the elements of nature coming together to vibrate in your brain. If you're able to catch that sound while sitting down, and this listening and sitting down requires no effort. If you're able to hear this sound and continue to hear it, not with effort, but just being aware of that sound and just be there. I may tell you sit for 20 minutes and listen to it, but you will end up not wanting to get up from your chair. In the process, you will become one with the sun. You will hear only the sun, as if the sun is the only thing there is. You will never even feel your body by the sounds. It's going to become like fetching a drop of water from the house to the beach and drop that water into the ocean, and you fetch the same quantity of that drop that you sent from home back to your home, and you don't have a drop of water, but you will have an ocean in the drop. When you have that experience of the universal frequency being your frequency, vibrating on the same frequency as the universe, just listening to that sound until you become one with that sound, is just like that drop of water from home to the beach and bringing an ocean in the drop to your home. You are never the same again. So this is what I have been given to give to the world for free. You will be able to see beyond the line, beyond the veil. The lie will be just playing to you. There's nothing but the deep side of it. That's all I've mentioned. And your experiences, as you begin to share, will be very peaceful and joyful and lovable. And this is the life that we ought to live. This is what I do. There is nothing behind what I do. People think I am into so many things, but they've forgotten that when I was in the church, I asked this question several times. That if indeed Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John ever lived and they presented to us these documents, the books in the Bible, then there is a lifestyle, there is a certain practice that they did. And that is what I wanted to practice. I don't know whether that's what I'm practicing now, but that quest, that search, that yearning for life, the test to experience the soul has brought me this far. There is an experience that you will always want to experience, that swimming in an ocean of knowledge. You will be fed with information by yourself as the soul. Knowledge will be you. You become knowledge. Not knowledgeable, knowledge. Because when you are knowledge, in essence, you are knowledgeable. There are so many benefits which are called the reward, because you shall reward yourself. But it is up to you to experience without knowing. Because if I share all the benefits and the rewards with you, that's what you'll be expecting. And there's nothing to expect. Nothing to expect. My people, my family, this is my world. The ways of the naturalness. Just be natural. Just be natural. Observe, look at the trees. And you become one with the tree. Look at the birds flying. And you know that the energy that is making them to fly is the same energy that is your life force. When you are awakened, as you desire to experience this soul, and you really indeed experience, you will detach yourself from what the world has created, that has become God of the world. I bless you this day. Thank you very much for your time. Peace and love once again.